What is going on, everyone? Not like you can actually answer me. Today's video is a bit of a departure from what I've been doing. It's not strictly an update. It's more kind of an interesting expectation versus reality type of topic. At least I thought it was interesting. I thought about doing it a number of times. I thought about it and I thought about it. I thought it might be a little superficial compared to some of the weightier videos I've been doing, a little more serious and the updates, but I thought, it's an interesting topic to me. I thought other people might find it interesting as well. And it might be kind of an interesting contrast to cancer this, cancer that, chemo this, chemo that. So obviously I made the video, or I'm making it right now, but I will have made it by the time you watch this. Anyway, so the topic is the expectation of what I would look like a month after surgery, specifically speaking, my physique. So obviously, with being a fitness guy, I'm kind of wondering, what kind of toll is this going to take on my physique? What am I going to look like? I know my body pretty well, so I kind of had certain expectations. And I have to say, I was kind of surprised at what I ended up seeing. So first, my expectation was that I would lose muscle. That's kind of a no-brainer. But I also thought I'd end up kind of smooth, losing a lot of my definition. And much to my surprise, that's not exactly what happened, at least not to the degree that I thought. So I'm going to put up a before picture. I'll probably put it up like around there or there. I don't even know. It'll be up there somewhere. Anyway, so this picture, the before picture, was taken 4 days before my surgery. So that's generally what I look like. So I normally eat around maybe 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. I generally like to stay a little bit leaner. I'm not a big guy, so I try to stay leaner to maintain a decent look. Now, there were days during my recovery, I was probably around 5, maybe 600 calories a day. I had very little appetite, and initially I really couldn't even eat at all. I had liquids, clear liquids, soup broth, stuff like that, so I wasn't eating much at all. So obviously, I lost muscle. I'll put up the other picture maybe there or there or there. I don't even know. It'll be up there somewhere. I'm not too good at this stuff. So obviously I lost muscle just because I was in such a caloric deficit. But what really surprised me was I didn't lose my definition too badly. Knowing myself and how I work with calories and how my macronutrients affect me and things like that, I thought it would get pretty smooth. But to my surprise, I really didn't smooth out as much as I thought. Of course, after the fact, I realized things were operating quite a bit differently internally, my metabolism, and I hadn't really thought about my body utilizing calories now to repair. So that was my suspicion after a while as to what was going on as I was seeing my physique a month after the surgery. So when I had my follow-up consult, my post-op appointment with my surgeon, he told me because my weight wasn't really rising, it wasn't going anywhere, he said eat, especially protein, because cancer consumes a lot of calories. Okay, new info to me. And he also confirmed that the repair process takes a lot of calories, which was not a surprise. I assumed a lot of my calories were going to that. And even now, I'm not stuffing my face, but I am trying to eat and my weight is just not going anywhere. So it's kind of an interesting time to see you're doing all of these normal things, but your body is reacting in a very, very different way. So those are kind of the results of where I am, what I've been doing, how I'm looking. And I just thought it might be kind of interesting to other people in the fitness industry or people who work out or just have some kind of general interest in this or other cancer survivors or battlers. So there's that. Now, transitioning into the other stuff, right, that I normally do. What's also really interesting is the way I'm perceiving this and handling all of this. Obviously, fitness is my job, so I care about how I look. I always say that I am my own best advertisement. I'm a walking billboard for what I can do for other people. So obviously the way I look is important. But maybe because I'm a bit older now or I'm more mature, it doesn't bother me as much as it would have if I were a younger man. My physique was always really important to me. I wanted to look good and maintain a certain look. So it's just not quite that way anymore. And maybe it's just God saying, don't worry too much about that right now. Because obviously I have quite a journey ahead of me. I'm kind of in the eye of the storm right now. I haven't gone through the surgery, and now I'm gearing up for chemo, which starts next week. So I've been trying to eat as many calories as I can to put a little extra weight on so that when I'm not hungry, I am kind of possibly expecting to not be very hungry, to have a bit of a loss of an appetite, nausea, stuff like that. So I'm trying to put a little storage on right now anyway. But I'm just kind of resigned to the fact that I have 6 months ahead of me. I'm going to do what I can, live as normally as I can, work out as I can, do the best that I can. And, however I look, and I'm just more interested in surviving than, trying to look like a fashion model or a, physique model or anything like that. But I'd say even more importantly than that, I have an eternal perspective. So there's a verse that I'm going to read to you. I don't have it memorized, so I'm going to read it to you from my Bible. My Bible's not that big, which means I'm not that spiritual. The bigger your Bible is means the more holy you are. So this is a verse out of 1 Timothy 4:8. It says, "For bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having promise of the life that now is and of that which is to come." So obviously exercise is incredibly valuable. It gives us a better quality of life. It helps us to accomplish things we couldn't otherwise. It challenges us. We grow physically, mentally, externally, internally. It's incredibly important, but it's very limited. Now, anybody who has used weight training or any high degree of training, such as preparing for a marathon, you know that if you work in your bench press, you work in your squat, you train for a marathon or any kind of event, say you took 5 years off and you live kind of just as a normal person without exercising, you know that if you went back to your event, your sport, without having trained in 5 years, you would be hurting. You can't lift what you could. You can't run like you could. You couldn't swim like you could. Use it or lose it. It's just that easy. So even in this life, as valuable as exercise is, the moment you stop doing it, you start losing it. So how much more when you die? You can't take your exercise, your conditioning, those types of accomplishments with you. What you will take with you are the things that you invested in the Lord. Your thoughts, your words, your deeds, those things are eternally profitable. So having that mindset as a Christian, I'm just not too concerned about the way I look right now. I'm more concerned about walking through this trial, which God has for me, and walking through it well, doing the best that I can, because I know that the consequences, the results, the things that occur during this trial, this exercise, so to speak, those things are eternal, and that's what I want to focus on, because that's what I'm going to take with me. So there it is. No fancy outro or music or anything here. Again, just something I thought others might find interesting, just some thoughts I've been thinking, because that's generally what you do with thoughts, right? So that's that. Chemo starts next week, and I'll make sure to keep you all updated. Thanks, and you'll see me next time.